Right, I am with acting manager Tyler Chambers, who took charge of the first team tonight for their cup match away at FC Deportivo Galicia. A 2-0 win, courtesy of a double from Daryl Cooper-Smith. You had a lot of your under-23s playing.
Yep.
You had a couple of reserve team lads on the bench. What were your overall impressions of the game and how the boys did?
I thought the game was very, very good. I think we controlled it from the get-go. We scored obviously after 2 or 3 minutes, and then we scored after 2 or 3 minutes of the second half. So I think we had two really well-timed goals that kind of killed the game in terms of our opposition trying to get an advantage. I think none of the boys looked out of place. I think the 23's done really well. I think the reserve boys, Gergs didn't get on, but Kane didn't look out of place when he came on at half time. So I think collectively, despite they were kind of thrown together this evening, to be given the opportunity to impress the first team management who were watching, I think they all done themselves justice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think there were a lot of strong performances from the lads. There were, excuse me, while the plane goes overhead. A lot of strong performances. No one, as you say, looked out of place. Frustrating thing for me was we could have been 4 up after 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Missed a couple of sitters. Not sitters, but Ben probably could have scored twice. Keeper's made a couple of really good saves.
Yeah.
Felipe's brought another good save out of him. That sort of thing, you think, is that going to come back and bite us on the arse?
Yeah, definitely. That's, I think, one of the big jumps from junior development football into senior is you really do have to take your chances. The league that we play in, we're graceful enough that sometimes we can kind of miss 2 or 3 chances and still run out 3 or 4-0 winners, where I think tonight it may well have been a learning curve if they'd have nicked back into the game and pushed on, because like you say, we should have been maybe 4 or 5-0 up at half time. So I think the boys just need to make that step, be a little bit more confident in front of goal.
Yeah, definitely. When you look across the lineup, you had Javonte, who was outstanding tonight on debut. Mark Ragu, again, barely put a foot wrong. You move into the midfield, you've got people like Mason, turned in a very solid performance.
Yeah.
Probably should have scored twice. Tremendous runs to get him into that position.
Yeah.
But both times, finish was lacking. But this is, as we said, difference between under-23s and first-team football.
Yeah, definitely. Mason's been doing that for us for the last 2 years, playing in that 10 role and making the runs beyond the striker, and that's how he scores most of his goals. In terms of Javonte, I think, I would give him man of the match. I know the committee and Darren gave him man of the match as well. Left back, right back, didn't look out of place, was outstanding, won us the penalty in the second half with a lung-busting run from right back to their box. So no, like I say, I mentioned it briefly earlier. The boys that played tonight didn't look out of place, and they've done their chances no harm.
Looking at the injury side of things, obviously Billy came off at half time with a bruised foot, I believe.
Yes,
which
he took a bad challenge in the first half.
Which is why we put Javonte on. Ben Senior obviously was struggling a little bit, which, considering he's now probably more of a first team player than a 23s player, is concerning. Any news on what he might have done?
It's a bit of a strange one with Ben, which I don't want to dive too deep into.
Okay.
But he said at half time that he couldn't feel his legs, and he's had that over his last kind of 3 or 4 performances. So it's maybe something for him to get looked into, because that doesn't sound too great.
No.
But Billy was carrying a knock before the game, and I think he took quite a heavy tackle in the first kind of 10-15 minutes, which didn't really help, but he battled on, and I think he just wanted to precaution kind of come off and not hamper the team's chances. And we had obviously Kane on the bench who could come on, was a ready-made replacement, so that was more precautionary.
Okay. A couple of your other substitutions raised a few eyebrows. Felipe coming off after an hour.
Yes. When
generally you look at him as someone who last 20 minutes is going to be driving teams forward. Any reason behind that? Was he struggling or just wanted to change it up a little bit?
No, I think it was just wanting to change it up a little bit. We started Marlon out on the right hand side, and the last kind of couple of games for the first team he's kind of played in the hole or up front. So what we wanted to do was get him involved, being one of the more senior players in the squad, despite him being 21. That last 20 minutes we really wanted to have a core of experienced players. Obviously you had Ollie in there, you had Daryl, you've got Pinder, Matt Farrell, Mason's played a handful of games in the first team. Charlie done a little bit at South Park at the start of the year. So we really wanted that experienced core to kind of see the team through. I think at that point it was 2-0, and what we didn't want was them to get one goal and then kind of backs go up and it turned into a difficult last 15 minutes.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we did have the incident of the issue with Daryl obviously wanting to come off as well. So you have to make the judgment call, Daryl or Ben, and obviously it went with Ben, and Daryl had to get a bit more game time and a few more minutes and run around as he willingly did.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to hurt him. I know he hasn't played football for a while now, so he's been with us for the last kind of 2 or 3 games whilst we've played friendlies and picked up minutes. So, I think he's done 270 minutes in the last kind of 10 days. So that's only going to improve his fitness while he pushes back on to get into the first team. Cool.
We said earlier, obviously, it's developing the players. You've got a lot of young players come up. It's not just about developing the players, though, is it? No. This is a big learning curve and a big step for yourself. I mean, the progress and the pathway we have is such that you now get the opportunity to manage a first team fixture. How did you find it? Was that a good buzz for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I was really excited from this morning in terms of kind of getting the team together and getting my teeth stuck in. Managing senior fixtures is completely different to managing development fixtures because, as much as it's always good to win a football match, as part and parcel of development football is obviously making sure the boys get adequate minutes and they're learning as well. But tonight, senior football, it's all about business and the business is winning the match. So I think tonight was a learning curve in the sense of my game management, like you say, kind of Daryl limped on for the last 20 minutes because we made 3 early substitutions. So it's kind of moving forward for me, maybe holding that one side back or kind of scouring the 11 that are on the pitch just to make sure that the right players are being brought off and the injured ones or the ones that are struggling aren't still on the pitch. So no, I enjoyed it and hopefully get another chance soon. Good.
Well, as you say, it's a learning curve for you because you're used to obviously roll on, roll off.
Yeah.
So Daryl's injured, under 23, bring him off, put on Gergo. It's simple, but when you're limited to your 3 subs, it does have a different dynamic to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Well done tonight, and as you say, hopefully we'll see more of it in the future. You've got a lot of good players in there. Obviously, they've made their case for Darren.
Yeah.
We'll see what the future brings.
Perfect. Just coming down. Thanks, Gal.